Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
Cash and liquor stolen by a pair of thieves. The gas station police say was targeted over the weekend. Plus, 1 week after 7 were killed at the Highland Park 4th of July parade, the town's mayor celebrates the passage of landmark gun violence prevention. And a special collection, the fossils that predate the dinosaurs, scientists hope will help them uncover the secrets of the solar system. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy. Rockford police investigate an armed robbery over the weekend. It happened Saturday just before 6 a.m. at the fast fuel gas station on 11th Street, north of Sandy Hollow. The clerk told police 2 men with masks on came up to him outside. They then went inside, pulled out a gun and stole cash from the register and a bottle of liquor. If you have any information, contact Rockford Police or Crime Stoppers. 2 teens were booked into the Winnebago County Juvenile Detention Center over the weekend, one accused of having a stolen gun. Saturday night, Rockford police responded to reports of someone with a gun near 15th Avenue and 10th Street. When officers arrived, 2 people ran off. A 15-year-old boy was taken into custody. A police canine found a 17-year-old hiding a few blocks away. Police say he had a stolen gun on him. He's charged with aggravated unlawful use of a weapon and possession of a stolen firearm. Both teens were wanted on outstanding warrants. Rockford police say they were able to take another stolen gun off the streets. 18-year-old Anthony Maccabee was arrested last night. Police spotted him at the West Side stop on School Street and say he ran from officers. Maccabee was wanted on 3 outstanding warrants. He's now charged with possession of a stolen firearm and other felony charges. Governor J.B. Pritzker, along with the mayor of Highland Park, were at the White House today. The visit comes as the Biden administration celebrated the passage of federal gun safety legislation. Raquel Martin has the story.
We can't just stand by. We can't let it happen any longer.
On the south lawn of the White House Monday, President Joe Biden celebrated new gun safety legislation he says will help combat a plague of mass shootings.
Across our schools, places of worship, workplaces, stores, music festivals, nightclubs, and so many other everyday places.
Including last week's 4th of July parade in Highland Park, Illinois.
It's a tremendous loss to everybody.
Illinois Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker and Highland Park Mayor Nancy Rotering joined gun violence survivors at the White House Monday to celebrate gun reforms 3 decades in the making.
The package includes millions towards mental health and school safety resources and also includes money to help states implement new crisis intervention programs.
It will make a difference. It will save lives, but there's so much more to do.
They're calling on Congress to pass a ban on assault-style weapons, like the one used at last week's parade shooting.
83 rounds were fired in less than a minute.
Rotering says as long as those weapons are on the street, communities and the police protecting them are in danger.
The police Kevlar vests are not able to stop those bullets from coming through. People who say they stand with the police need to recognize that these are weapons of war.
Right now, there is not enough support in Congress to pass an assault weapon ban. President Biden says that's why voters should head to the polls this November.
We have so much more work to do.
In Washington, Raquel Martin.
The White House committee investigating January 6th will hold another hearing tomorrow. This one's expected to highlight connections the Trump administration had with extremist groups involved in the riot. It's looking into whether Trump's people had contact with members of Oath Keepers and Proud Boys on the day of the insurrection. Top leaders of those groups have been charged with seditious conspiracy in connection with the riot. The hearing starts at noon. Gas prices are finally falling. The average price for a gallon of regular in the Rockford area is down 18 cents in the last week. According to Gas Buddy, prices now average $4.94 a gallon. That's 32.6 cents lower than a month ago. This marks the 4th straight week of decreases. Analysts say drivers can expect to see another 10 to 20 cent drop over the next couple of weeks. A local elementary school has a new push to get students to read. They're teaming up with Rockford Public Library. Welsh Elementary invited RPL's mobile library to the school today to kick off the summer reading program. The mobile library loans books as well as movies, games, even Chromebooks. Families can also register for a library card.
Rockford Public Library and Welsh have really started to work together and build a partnership. Rockford Public Library has always been really devoted to literacy for our students here in the North End, and they have that common belief that we have at Welsh, that literacy is a civil right. They've done an amazing job to actually not only communicate that in words, but to communicate it in actions by bringing that mobile library here today.
The mobile library will return to the school in 2 weeks to collect the materials borrowed today and allow other community members to get more. Amazon Prime Day starts tomorrow, 2 days of deals, but it can also be a prime time for scams. The BBB warns of phishing scams. That's when scammers send out emails or texts appearing to be from a retailer trying to get your personal information. Look out for messages with links claiming you have a gift waiting for you or that there is a problem with delivery. For more tips to help avoid scams, check out this story on mystateline.com. Chicago's Field Museum welcomes a rare collection of fossil meteorites that could help unlock secrets of the solar system. This is the largest fossil meteorite collection in the world, discovered in Sweden in the 80s. We're told these samples predate even the dinosaurs and came from an asteroid collision somewhere between Mars and Jupiter. The Field Museum boasts the largest meteorite collection for a private research institution in the world, making it the obvious place to house and study them.
This is amazing. This is really exciting. I mean, I've never thought that we would get the entire collection here. Explore the solar system and what it's made of by studying meteorites that fell in Earth's past, like these fossil meteorites.
For now, this collection is only accessible to researchers, but the Field Museum hopes to put them on exhibit sometime down the road. The race is on to save a grove of iconic sequoia trees from a massive wildfire burning in Yosemite National Park. Some of the trees are thousands of years old, including one of the most famous trees in America. Morgan Norwood has more on the efforts.
From above and on the ground, crews battling the Washburn fire as the blaze scorches parts of Yosemite National Park. The fire creating a firenado, debris shooting into the air, causing a close call for one plane flying over the area. The fire tearing through more than 2,000 acres since igniting last week. The intense flames threatening the grove of giant sequoias in Yosemite. The iconic trees, some thousands of years old. ABC's Will Carr is there.
Crews are doing everything they can to protect those sequoias, including fighting fire with fire. This is a backfire. They're hoping these flames will cut off the fire's path.
Crews also deploying sprinklers to protect the grizzly giant, the park's second largest sequoia that's well over 200 feet tall.
We're watering that tree in case the fire comes to it, and when the fire does come, fire behavior is just going to drop down and the tree's going to be okay.
So far, officials say their aggressive firefighting tactics are working, but with the fire still burning, there's still cause for concern.
The biggest concern is we still have an active fire outside the grove, and that fire is a concern still for coming into this area, and also the communities in the area as well.
The raging fire turning other parts of the forest and popular summer destination into a hellscape, with thick wild flames turning out smothering smoke. 700 people staying at a nearby campground were told to evacuate, but some are choosing to wait it out.
Plan on staying here at the park for a few days, but I guess we'll see.
Fires in this part of the country are normal, but hotter temperatures and drought conditions linked to climate change make it easier for these fires to start and intensify more quickly.
Thankfully, the wind is not expected to carry this fire any farther, and firefighters say that will allow them to get the upper hand over the next couple of days. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Now, your First Warn weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Well, things have been pretty quiet for us here these last couple of hours. However, we've noticed a little more cloud cover starting to build up here, leading to a little bit more moisture. And eventually we will see a couple of showers and a few thunderstorms start to develop. Already starting to see some of that activity here as we look at our satellite radar. We've been mostly dry over the last few hours following some of the showers and thunderstorms out there earlier today. But now beginning to see some of the clouds kind of build up. We've got a couple of showers now working across northern portions here of DeKalb County, one thunderstorm moving into southeast McHenry County. This activity going to stay a little more isolated here over the next couple of hours as that cold front continues to work in over the next few hours. Dew point temperatures have gone up as well, so you may have noticed it feeling a little more on the muggier side. Dew point numbers now in the upper 60s and low 70s. So you've got that muggy feel, and we've got a little more moisture kind of pooling out ahead of that front. But drier air situated off to the northwest will eventually begin to move in here for us as we go through tonight and then into tomorrow, so it gets rid of some of that humidity. 88 our temperature in Rockford, Janesville. 84 now in Rochelle, and a few places that heat index factor has made it into the low to mid 90s. So a little more muggy than what it was here over the weekend. 85 for our weather watcher Mike, just north of Foreston. Had 5/100ths of an inch of rainfall come down, and the rain that came through earlier today didn't amount to much. We stayed under a couple tenths of an inch of rainfall, but any little bit will definitely help with those dry conditions. Once we did get rid of some of the rainfall, our temperatures actually warmed rather quickly from late morning through early afternoon, topping out in those upper 80s. I mentioned the rainfall. Notice it was not a lot that came through. Had some heavier showers and thunderstorms that were found down to the south of us. So any activity here as we go through this evening going to stay mostly isolated, but there is still that risk for maybe 1 or 2 strong thunderstorms where we could get a strong wind gust or even some hail. Futurecast doesn't really show a lot of that through this evening, but I am going to hang on to that chance through about 8, 9 o'clock tonight. After that, the cold front will have passed through. Skies will then begin to clear out. Our winds will shift around to the northwest. That brings in some drier air for tomorrow. With that, we'll see some sunshine tomorrow. Late morning, you're likely going to notice some cumulus clouds starting to pop up. That could lead to a sprinkle or even a light shower tomorrow afternoon. Same thing for Wednesday too, but nothing widespread, and we'll have a lot more dry sky than what we will anything coming down in the rain variety. Temperatures Wednesday night actually dropping down into the 50s. So 65 degrees for us tonight. It does stay pretty muggy out there. Isolated shower thunderstorm through about 8, 9 o'clock. Winds will shift around to the northwest for the day tomorrow, up to 84 for tomorrow afternoon. A little less humid out there. Isolated shower, northwesterly wind at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. After that, things are going to stay pretty quiet here through the week. Thursday looks like a stellar day, 83 for the afternoon. We'll start to bring back some of that humidity though. Once we get into the weekend, temperatures will gradually climb and could see a few more showers and thunderstorms by the time we get into the weekend. Mimi?
Now sports with Reagan Holgate.
With the recent hiring of Luke Richardson as head coach, questions circled around where interim head coach Derek King would land within the Blackhawks organization, and today it became official. Derek King will return to the team as an assistant coach. Kevin Dean was also named an assistant coach along with goaltending coach Jimmy Waite and video coach Matt Meacham. King won 4 straight games with Chicago after stepping into the interim role last November. Prior to joining the Blackhawks, King was behind the bench with your Rockford Ice Hogs. And now the biggest question remains with the Ice Hogs and who they will have taking over this coming season. The Cubs are off today as they travel back to Chicago to host the Orioles for a 2-game set. But yesterday, ahead of the final game with the Dodgers, another All-Star was announced and will join Wilson Contreras on the NL team. And who other than Ian Happ? This is his first career All-Star team. Happ is the first full-time Cubs outfielder to be named to the NL All-Star team since 2016, and Dexter Fowler. Manager David Ross was the first to tell him of the news.
Happer has been as consistent of a player as I've ever seen him be, and the fact he gets rewarded that, being an all-star, he's deserving of that. I think he's upped his game, just not offensive numbers, but his defense, his base running, his all-around game has been stellar, and I'm so happy for him. He was really emotional in there.
The 92nd All-Star Game will be played at Dodger Stadium on July 19th. The White Sox are looking to bring yesterday's winning energy to Cleveland today as they begin a 7-game road stretch. Tonight starts the first of 3 with the Guardians. Cleveland currently leads the series 4-1. Lance Lynn will start on the mound. Jake Berger is still on the 10-day IL with a bruised hand.
Candace will have another look at weather in just a moment, but first, here's a look at what's to come on News Nation tonight.
Tonight, they risked everything to escape a tyrannical communist regime, while illegal immigrants from Cuba don't benefit from President Biden's lax immigration policies. Plus, could the world's richest man end up in jail for not buying Twitter? That's On Balance. Here's Dan.
Thanks, Leland. Tonight on Dan Abrams Live on News Nation. Democrats turning their backs on President Biden. A new poll shows the majority of Democrats now don't want him to run again in 2024. So how do they force him out? We'll look at the possible strategies and signs that those plans may have already started. That's tonight on Dan Abrams Live.
Well, that's coming up on News Nation. It's available on the cable and satellite stations you see here. You can also head to newsnation.com. Candace is back now with another look at that forecast. Boy, the weekend was just beautiful.
It was
so nice. So the mugginess returning today was kind of like, oh.
Right? That's kind of how you stepped out, just a little bit. Although I will say it did kind of cool off when we had the rain. I know the wind was a bit cooling out there this morning and early afternoon, but once it moved out, you really kind of felt it get a little more stuffy out there. Yeah, and this evening is going to stay like that too, and eventually that is going to help kind of fuel a few additional showers and thunderstorms. We are already starting to see some of those develop, so isolated activity here through this evening. You can follow it all with the First Warn Interactive Radar brought to us by Rockford Auto Glass and More. Temperatures tonight will drop down to about 65. If we do see a couple of thunderstorms grow a little more in strength, may have some wind and hail, but I think the higher risk of that actually going to be well to our south, but we'll keep an eye on that through about 8-9 o'clock tonight. 84 for tomorrow, 82 on Wednesday. You see that slight chance for a passing shower just with the heating of the day. Temperatures then will gradually warm through the weekend.
All right. Thanks, Candace. And thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you at 6.